Alrighty, guys, welcome in. Thank you for joining me this morning. We're getting ready. Please just bear with me. I'm just trying to get this shared out. Alrighty, guys, welcome in. Thank you for tuning in this morning. Hello, hello. Alright, Jonathan Potter, what is up? Thank you for tuning in. Let me get my hat. We're going to go over our 3 areas of severe weather threat ongoing today. This is going to be including parts of the Midwest, uh, parts of the Rocky Mountains. We have Montana and Wyoming, as well as Colorado, involved in this as well today. That threat extends all the way into Minnesota, Nebraska, and Kansas, as well as storms firing off in eastern Kansas today, and possibly getting as far as parts of Kentucky, and as well as Indianapolis, Indiana, and down towards Decanter, Effingham, and Mount Vernon in Illinois. So lots of areas to cover. We already have severe weather ongoing here in Virginia right now around Jamestown. We do currently have some active weather ongoing. We could take a look here. This is going to be pushing into Jamestown, possibly just north of Virginia Beach. Looks like some more storms starting to fire off here. That'll probably be pushing into Virginia Beach and Chesapeake. So these are warned currently for small hail, penny-sized hail, and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So we also have some active weather ongoing with some very large hail currently in Illinois. This is going to be southern Illinois. We have Greenville. These storms have been, this particular supercell has been producing some pretty large hail. Some of it about an hour ago was upwards of 3.5-inch hail diameters, so some very damaging large gorilla hail. We're also going to take a look here at our reflectivity, and currently I don't see in the form of anything tornadic forming at the moment, but definitely some damaging wind potential with this storm. I also do see this kind of a, this is looking like a little inflow notch going in here. So the area to definitely watch as this goes further south towards Greenville, also towards Centralia, and down towards Nashville. But yeah, we're going to continue to monitor this ongoing threat here. This ongoing threat extends much further south into parts of Kentucky, like parts of Paducah, Madisonville, as well as maybe even the eastern half of Louisville, Kentucky. So, reasonably large threat today for severe weather. That also does include Kansas City, St. Joseph, some areas that were very hard hit last night, Maryville. Let's get our timing and planning on when these storms could start to affect these areas. We even had some severe thunderstorm warnings up in Canada this morning, which was pretty interesting. but that is a common occurrence up there in Canada as well. So take a look at our future cast here. We're going to take a look at our modeling forecast, which is going to be our HRRR model. This will allow me to see uh, what is going on as far as our severe weather potential. This is going to be our temperatures today, 70s and 80s for parts of the Midwest. Anything for Ohio when you get a chance. Definitely I'll take a look here. Looks like it's just going to be a marginal risk for severe weather, maybe a isolated strong to severe storm popping up from anywhere south of Mansfield down to Portsmouth. So that includes Akron to the south of Cleveland. Maybe a isolated strong storm. I wouldn't think like we're gonna have any tornado threat here in Ohio today. Maybe a isolated chance of some damaging winds and maybe some small hail. Nothing out of the ordinary. I think most of that's going to be down here in parts of Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, Kansas, and Nebraska. Let's take a look. But it is summertime. Sometimes you can get those really strong pop-up storms. But I don't think as far as supercell, Ohio's probably not going to see that today. We'll take a look here at Let's take a look first at our composite reflectivity and kind of do a timeline on when these storms can start to really show up. We can kind of verify that later when these storms do start to erupt. But this is going to be pretty accurate as far as how these storms start to form. So let's take a look first. Best way we're going to probably go about this is go to our previous one and kind of compare, see what the difference is, what similarities it has, see if we have some model agreements. This is going to be around 3 o'clock. Start to have showers here in Wyoming and Colorado firing off. Some of these could initially be severe, even though they're not going to be in the slight risk. It's just because of the Rocky Mountain enhancements where you can get some of this convergent wind as these storms do begin to fire off here towards parts of Kansas and Nebraska. So definitely something to watch out for extreme parts of southeastern Wyoming and parts of central and eastern Colorado as we get into about 3 o'clock this afternoon. These storms continue to fire off. The real initiation for these supercells is probably going to begin in parts of extreme west central Nebraska and parts of northeast Colorado. These are going to be strong hail producers. Also taking a look at our wind shear here. Let's take a look at our low-level cape. So my guess, if these supercells do form, they're going to form with very large hail and damaging wind. We're also going to take a look at our cape levels here. Our cape levels are definitely conductive at the highest levels, 1,400 joules per kilogram. Most of the really high convective available potential energy is going to be locked right here along Kansas City this afternoon. It's going to prime itself for some really strong severe weather. We're also going to take a look at the AGL Cape here. The low level Cape, if you have it over close to 100, that usually is going to be plenty of available energy at the ground levels to start creating some big time thunderstorms. So not what I'm seeing right there with these storms. We'll also take a look at our wind shear. Um, this is going to be our low level wind shear, and I'm seeing that these wind shear amounts here in Colorado, there's some isolated pockets. You really want to see for tornadoes at the low level, you want to have it right about 30 knots. So right here to the east of Denver, as these storms pop off here, definitely could start to see that rotation. It's kind of a different play for areas just to the east of the Rockies because of that enhancement from the mountains. So you might be able to take that down as far as 20 knots for some severe storms to really start kicking off. Because you'll almost have vorticities that build off of the eastern slopes of the Rocky Mountains here. So that definitely can enhance. That's why eastern Colorado almost has more tornadoes in this section of Colorado than anywhere else in the United States. And you can get a lot of anticyclonic tornadoes too. So we're watching this, and also parts of Wyoming, eastern Wyoming into Nebraska as these storms fire off. This is going to be perfect conditions here for rotating supercells to begin to form and lift off. So definitely something we need to be watching. And we'll take a look at our max updraft velocity. This is going to be our best chance for uh, supercells to form, and this is going to show us where the likely area of some rotating mesocyclones, rotating supercells are going to be possible, and we'll take a look at that. So these storms kick off in between, I want to say 4 and 5 p.m. For uh, parts of Montana, and as well as Wyoming and Colorado. Looks like this is going to be a pretty domineering storm coming into Nebraska. And it shows that this thing could have some long track to it. But then I see the storm up here in South Dakota and see how strong this mesocyclone could actually get. This could be some very tall thunderstorms, extremely large hail, and potential for tornadoes up here in Nebraska. And actually, there's a 5% chance of tornado development today in and around that area. So this is where they are predicting the greatest risk for tornadoes is going to be for around Rapid City, South Dakota, and that is where I am seeing this really large tornado threat. Hey Sherry, how are you? So we got that tornado threat ongoing today. We also have these strong supercells here that form maybe even into southern Nebraska. But this looks like it's going to be a monster to watch today. I think that's going to be some just very unbelievably large hail. Very high. I guarantee that'll probably have a high tornado risk. Um, So we take a look at our tornado parameters. This is going to be our best chance for tornadic conditions today. Um, we have, let's see here. We see these areas here around spearfish. This is just meaning that the conditions have a lot of the ingredients, the instability, the atmosphere. We have bad storms today in Illinois. Yeah, Illinois is under the threat today for severe weather, and that's what I was getting to next. It definitely looks like we're going to continue to see that severe weather threat. The biggest chance for tornadoes again today is going to be in South Dakota, for parts of Montana, and parts of Wyoming. Um, so we're also going to take a look here. Currently, we have a 2% chance of tornadoes for Illinois. This could be for southern Illinois, also parts of Kentucky and Indiana for around Indianapolis. So there is that risk for tornadoes as well. But that tornado threat here in the upper Midwest here, this could extend all the way into parts of Kansas, Colorado, around where this slight risk of severe weather is. That is the 2% chance. That is a 5% chance of tornadoes there. We also have this 2% chance of tornadoes that uh, is possible here in parts of Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky. And we also have a third area of possible tornadic development. And that's going to include a good portion of eastern and central Virginia and northeast sections of North Carolina, where we've already had some storms firing off this morning. So we have 5 people watching. I do appreciate it. Aw, Sherry, just trying to help people, keep people updated and notified of what's going on with our current severe weather today. Let's take a look here. So let's take a look at our severe weather potential going on this afternoon. We're going to take a look here at our HRRR model. This is our convective allowing model. And we're going to take a look at our conditions here. Very, very damp atmosphere here in Illinois this morning into the afternoon. Seeing some of these dew points that are extremely high, 70. This is very conductive for severe weather right here, especially these more pink values. That's going to be pushing this way this afternoon. So, very, very damp atmosphere, like I said. We're going to continue to take a look here into about 2 o'clock. We see these values at 75, 74, even almost 76-degree dew points. This is some very, very moist, unsettled air. We're also going to overlay that with both our mid-level convective available potential energy, um, which is going to be our surface-based cape. And some of these areas along this 70-degree dew point have upwards of 3,000 to 4,000 joules per kilogram of surface-based cape. We're also going to take a look at our excuse me. Shoot, sorry. We're also going to take a look here at our conditions here for our ground level cape. This is going to be extremely high ground level cape. This is very conductive to some big time tornado or severe weather activity for areas like Harrisburg, Centralia. So that's definitely something to monitor. One of the other uh, big deciding factors is going to be our. Um, I would have to take a look at our bulk shear. Uh, Come on. So our shear is not really as high. It's not as in place, and that's probably why there is a slight risk and not an enhanced or moderate risk. There seems to be a lack of wind shear in this area. Now, there is some higher wind shear up here in parts of Missouri, maybe even up towards Effingham. There's a little bit more wind shear, but you would have to see a lot more shear in place in order to have more of a severe weather or a tornado type outbreak, which is good. That means that there's probably going to be a lesser chance for some tornadoes. Now, later in the evening, that shear does go back up. So we're going to take a look at our conditions as far as our future radar and see. Yeah, it's very humid outside, I bet. It's very humid here. We just got to put an excessive heat warning for parts of Texas today. We're supposed to be, I think, at 107 degrees Fahrenheit today, which is unbelievably high. So we're looking here. We're going to go over to our future projection radar here and kind of take a look and see where these storms could really start to fire off this afternoon. Looks like we have some storms firing off as early as 1 o'clock. I know there's some ongoing severe storms going on right now, and that's going to continue. Probably in the next hour, you're going to see this storm here uh, move in towards areas north of Centralia. It definitely looks like it could be a monster hail producer. Looked like it had been dropping some large hail a couple of hours ago. Continuing to watch this as this goes on. So it looks like the severe weather threat for this area is going to be right now. This is kind of more of a mid-morning threat. I think the worst of it is going on right now in this area. And it might continue probably until about 2 p.m., at least that I see right now. We also do have that severe threat, possible non-zero tornado threat here in Virginia, North Carolina today. Really start to see these storms initiate roughly about 2 o'clock in the afternoon here in parts of Virginia, also here in parts of North Carolina, just to the south of Durham, Chapel Hill, Raleigh, and possibly near coming towards Fayetteville. Got some of those storms firing off here at the Virginia line, probably near Roanoke Rapids. And those storms kind of push off and end with the daytime heating. So definitely could be some strong supercell type thunderstorms that develop here. Also taking a look at our composite reflectivity. We'll go to our next updraft velocity. And some storms can form near Henderson. There could also be some supercells that go around Stanford, Dunn, just to the north of Fayetteville. Also, Albemarle, Albemarle. Um, also towards maybe south of Elizabeth City and Kitty Hawk. We also have these storms near South Boston. And right now we got some storms firing off near Jamestown. So Jamestown right now has some severe weather going on. So that's kind of a detailed list of our severe weather threat that's going to be happening today. Of course, we can also detail the extreme heat going on here in Texas. Just absolutely mind-blowing heat going on here. Some of the values were over 110 degrees, which is just absurd. And this is going into the afternoon for parts of Texas today. You can really just see that heat building in. Very, very hot temperatures across Texas. You get here into parts of San Antonio, and that heat really just builds. They're showing here about, this is where I live here in San Antonio, and they're showing temperatures exceeding 104 degrees. This is also humid, mind you, so this is very, very uncomfortable. Um, but you start to get here into North Texas near Lubbock, also to parts of uh, areas like Wichita Falls, and you start popping over 110, 107 to 110 degrees. So some very, very uncomfortable conditions right around Memphis. You have 110 degrees there. Very dangerous heat and humidity going on today. We're very, very far below average rainfall. So 104 to 107 degrees here in San Antonio. Very dangerous heat conditions today. And that heat actually goes all the way into parts of Kansas as well. We have extreme heat that exceeds close to 110 degrees for around Medicine Lodge, Anthony, up towards Kingman, almost near Wichita. So Dodge City over 105 degrees. And plus, it's humid out here today, too. So it's going to make these conditions really, really uncomfortable. These are high humidity areas. If we take a look at our dew points here, alongside this severe weather outbreak that's going to be going on, we have dew points in the 60s. This is going to be feeling really, really uncomfortable with these heat index. So right near Hutchinson, so Kingman, you're going to be like 109 with a 58 degree dew point. So it's going to feel really miserable. Whereas here, you have 110 degrees, but you have a very low dew point in the 30s. Here in Texas today, we have very hot weather here across central Texas. 104 to 106 degrees with a 50-degree dew point. It's going to feel very miserable, um, and definitely could be risking some heat-related illnesses as you go into parts of Oklahoma. Same deal, 70-degree dew points this afternoon with that extreme heat, which could lead to some emergency situations. So. If anybody is in these states, Texas, Oklahoma, parts of southern Kansas, southwest Kansas, there's gonna be a pretty nasty heat wave. Hopefully, this heat wave starts to dwindle down over the next couple of days. Looks like it's gonna cool down for areas like San Antonio as well. So keeping that in mind, and that's kind of today's little severe weather briefing of what was gonna potentially happen. Looks like the worst of the two threats are gonna be the threat here in parts of Indianapolis, Indiana, Illinois, parts of Missouri. Looks like this is going to be more of an earlier threat. This threat here on the East Coast is gonna die with the daytime heating, so it's gonna be over in the afternoon. Uh, shouldn't be much longer of a threat. The main threat today is going to be up in South Dakota uh, with that 5% tornado risk for areas like Rapid City, Gillette, Wyoming, Sheridan, Wyoming, parts of extreme southeastern Montana, and up into possibly even into northern Nebraska here. So we're going to continue to monitor these threats that are going to be ongoing today because this is going to be some potentially large damaging hail, possibly a tornado, and also your threat here in South Dakota for damaging winds, extremely large hail, probably 3, 4, maybe even 5-inch diameter hail, all possible today with these long track supercells that form. It's kind of a similar situation to what happened last night in South Dakota. I think it's going to be tracking somewhat over the same areas. Um, Man, I would one day love to see the hail that forms out of some of these storms one day in South Dakota because South Dakota has the all-time record for the world's largest hail. That actually happened down here in south central South Dakota, and that was 8-inch hail back in 2010. It is an absolute monster hailstone. It happened in Vivian, South Dakota. So, still continuing to watch this severe weather threat that continues today. We're taking a look at all of our parameters, and this looks like it's going to be a hotbed for some very large hail. I think that's even going to be probably uh, the biggest threat today is going to be the extremely large hail that occurs through North Dakota or South Dakota, maybe even parts of North Dakota, um, Montana, and Wyoming. Just absolutely monster hail. The tornado parameters are not really that high today, so I think it's going to be more of a damaging wind and hail threat. Um, but there is that chance, that 5% chance for tornadoes to form today. And it's probably because there's a little bit higher of a wind shear that could go on at the lower to mid levels. Yeah. So they're showing that that chance for some 40 and 50 knot shear. This is very conductive for getting thunderstorms to rotate. So that's why they've included that risk along with all the other parameters. But I wanted to do that live weather briefing this morning, show you guys what's available, what could come, and how it could possibly affect you guys. So thank you for tuning in this morning. I'll be live later this afternoon with the ongoing threat here in the Dakotas and into um, parts of Illinois and Indiana if that is a continuing threat. I'll be live a little bit later on. We'll real quick discuss what is currently severe thunderstorm warned. Like I said, I don't see this being a huge tornado day, maybe an isolated tornado or two for that area. Could definitely spin up. Yesterday was kind of a surprise tornado threat, so today might uh, be one as well. Still continuing to take a look here. We're going to go back to our radar sweeps here. Got to take a look at our severe weather that's currently ongoing, and we have a couple of storms. This is going to be first in Virginia. These storms are currently going to move offshore. Some probably nickel size or some probably penny size hail and some damaging winds associated with the southern part of this line here. Also, here could have some strong gusty winds, and also right here. So we're going to continue to monitor these storms. This one also having a little bit of a backward sea. I don't see much rotation in any of these storms. So it looks like it's going to be more of a damaging wind threat here in Virginia and North Carolina. Most of these storms are going to be pushing offshore. But we still have that threat going in from around the Raleigh area that could produce a isolated tornado or not. Or isolated tornado or two. So we'll have to keep watch out this afternoon. I think the strongest threat for today's severe weather is going to be for these two parts. I think it's going to be for Mount Vernon, from parts of Kentucky, Illinois, and Indiana, maybe into extreme southeast portions of Missouri. So that'll have to be continued to be monitored. They said that there was a meso discussion. The possibility of posting a severe thunderstorm watch is roughly about 20%. There is a severe thunderstorm warning that is currently going on here in, looks like that is going on for Illinois. Take a look at that storm real quick. Definitely some probably 1.5 inch hail around Pleasant Mound right now. This is near Greenville, Illinois. This is going to be pushing south towards Centralia, and this looks like it was a pretty strong storm, and it has plenty of favorability to keep on its track to the southeast. So if you're in areas like Benton, Harrisburg, just watch out that these storms could be strong today as they move through your area. And that could extend all the way towards Hawkinsville later this evening. So as this severe thunderstorm outbreak does occur, I will be live later this afternoon, probably in a couple hours, 3 or 4 hours. I got some work that I gotta go do, and then, but I just wanted to kind of give everybody an outlook on what could happen later this afternoon in these areas. Of course, the greatest damaging wind, tornado, and hail threat is going to be here in South Dakota, um, parts of Wyoming and Montana. So that's going to be where you see the largest of the tornado threat. Also, some very large, extremely damaging hail and wind as well. Is going to be in this area, mostly in the north sections, probably more so Montana and parts of western South Dakota, west central North Dakota. Thank you guys. I'll talk to you guys here soon. Much love and light, and I'll be back later on today.